All right. Good day, guys. It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday already, huh? September 24, 2025 edition of the Pocket Change Market Report. Hopefully everyone's doing well. We got a incredible lineup today. We're going back about 36 hours of eBay sold activity, pulling out the most relevant errors and varieties that you guys need to know about and how much they're selling for today on this crazy numismatic market we're encountering right now. A lot of the coins, of course, can be found going out there. Roll hunting is a really big thing. The fall season is going to be primarily like a just treasure hunt du jour for a lot of the roll hunters out there, going to the bank, acquiring rolls, going through them, finding a few of these pieces you're going to see here today. But also, a lot of nice shows as well. Coin shows are a great place to cherry pick a few of the pieces that you're going to see here today and then just turn around and resell them. The good news is a lot of the coins that we typically cover into PCMR reports are ungraded, which means that they speak for themselves, they sell for themselves, which is huge. That's going to be a lot of money that you're going to keep in your pocket as a result. You don't need to grade any of these. And, you're going to save yourself some time, too. Because right now, 6 to 8 months turnaround time on regular submissions through PCGS. Kind of crazy. It could get a lot crazier, too, as people are just really utilizing grading services right now. The good news is what we cover, you don't need to grade any of these. All right, so we'll jump in these here momentarily. Quick little shout out to channel sponsor Whatnot. By the way, guys, going to be extraordinarily busy week on Whatnot for Blue Ridge Silverhound. We're going to be doing shows 4 consecutive days starting today. Today is the Sacramento Valley Coin Club show, kickoff show, essentially is what it is. The coin show starts tomorrow. I will be attending all 3 days. I don't have a table on the Boris floor, but I will be around for a while on all 3 days. Headhunting a lot of coins that my clients need. And if you're looking to take part in a very busy week, and we are a community as well, it's a great place to go to. Come by the Blue Ridge Silverhound channel on Whatnot. I love talking to the people, addressing questions, comments, concerns about the hobby, and we have a great auction as well, and some pretty phenomenal giveaways to boot. Now is the time to sign up. Now is the time to sign up before the fall season kicks off underway, and it already has. Things are just nutso right now on the platform. A lot of people going on there, silver and gold, shooting up to beyond wild expectations. And that is having just an overall domino effect across the industry right this moment. Whatnot has never been busier, and now's the time to strike. If you sign up under me today, guess what? You get $15 off your very first item. That could be $15 off your first piece of silver, first piece of gold, whatever the case may be. That US type coin you've been looking for. Maybe there's a world coin that you've been waiting for. Great time to sign up. If you don't like to use the QR code, have no fear. I also have the links down below in the description box and also pinned to the comment section of this video. Works just as easy, and it works every single time. So, thank you guys for listening in on that. I think we're ready to go here. Pretty extraordinary list. How about this 1912 Liberty V nickel? By the way, this is such a beautiful looking coin. Even with the mint error. Some would say that older type obsolete coins, there are going to be people, purists, that'll say, I prefer not to have mint errors on them because I really enjoy them more as, just a really clean looking coin. But there is something to say about this large strike through on the reverse that really makes this one really unbelievable. I actually like this coin a lot. It's too bad it's sold within moments. But yeah, there was some sort of strike through on that reverse die. It could be anything, some grease, maybe a piece of wood, or a delamination from another coin. And the coin overall is in beautiful shape too. I would say a high-end AU condition is what we're looking at here, but in any event, nice common date too. $54.95 was the original asking price. There was a best offer that was accepted. Don't really know what it is because the system I use to identify best offers is not currently working right now. But I'm going to say that this thing probably sold for like 45, 50 bucks, staying very close to what their original asking price was on this. But yeah, pretty neat coin nonetheless. If you're out there at the shows and you're hunting through, just coins, all coins, all old coins, of course, there's going to be an influx of mint errors because quality back 100, 200 years ago, not nearly as what it is today. And it's not even that perfect in today's standards either. Yeah, did I say that we have some pretty amazing coins? We have this 1999p Jefferson nickel. The nickel itself is Broadstruck, so that's probably the least spectacular part of it, but it does have this massive indent with a brockage on there. A little bit of a brockage, so still a little bit of the design elements of whatever other coin that was overlapping this one. I'm going to say that there was probably two nickels overlapping each other. There was some major malfunction happening on that mint press for this to happen, but yeah, this is quite a sight for sore eyes for sure. Not at all surprised at, the sale price of $160. I think this thing is just a monumental error of epic proportions, and collectors love it. They're going to open their wallets really, really deep and wide to own something like this. Kind of crazy. We also talk about paper money as well. This one right here, I don't know what the date is, but I'm going to guess probably like maybe 1950. It just has that, the ink coloration of the green for the serial numbers. It just has that matching look to it. So we'll assume 1950. The date is not on there for a reason. All right. And the whole right side overprint of the green district seal and the serial number is missing on this one. I don't know if you guys see that. Yeah, you can actually see the serial number all the way to the bottom right there, slanted. And it's not, the whole thing's not even printed on the front of the note. So something definitely happened here. Let's look at the reverse. And maybe that could help, pull some, speculation as to what is going on here. You could see some of the front overprint on the back, all right, but not all of it. Kind of strange, and it's sideways, like rotated 90 degrees. But maybe this will help a little bit better. There you go. Fold over note. So the corner of the sheet was folded over and then subsequently printed. So yeah, I mean, the serial number and the green seal is partially there, but not entirely. And then this kind of, gives us the idea that, this thing was, still can't believe this thing even left the BEP. It's a wild, very, very crazy error. And if you don't know what's happening here, the corner of that subject sheet had folded in and printed. Yeah, kind of crazy. These are crazy. I've seen some crazy foldovers. This one is pretty nice. And what's also even more insane is that this thing had actually circulated. People actually spent this thing. $303.94 is the final sale price on this one. It was actually a buy it now hit. And you figure that something like this wouldn't last that long. $300 for this, by the way, is par for the course market-wise. I've seen them go for a lot higher, I guarantee you if this note was like more higher graded, like an XFAU, I mean, you'd probably be talking about $500 pretty easily. Fold-over errors on paper money are some of the most beloved pieces that collectors want. And some of them I've seen go for $1,000, $2,000, $3,000. They get pretty dramatic here. We talk about wood grainers, woody wood grainers. This one has a really nice wood grained reverse, a little swats on the front there, but yeah, the reverse looks a little bit better, kind of like a caramel mixing with chocolate, more appropriately on this one, because it's not like a flashy improper alloy mix error, which is what a woody is. But this one has, just the right look to it that, it will endear to some collectors out there. So even one that looks like this, still worth some money. It ended up selling for $11.45. Wood grainers are kind of like the flavor of the year so far, and they're performing really well, but they're not blowing up to these wild expectations like, 30, 40, $50, unless you had like a little bit tougher date. But overall, still very affordable. If you wanted to collect into something like this, there is a market for that as well. We have a 2000p Sacagawea golden dollar. That's what they used to call these things back in the day when they first released, was the gold dollar, because when they were uncirculated and unused, they look like they were made out of 24 karat gold. But the thing is, it wasn't gold at all. It was manganese is what made this color, of the coin. And it's highly reactive, much like copper is to moisture. And yes, that is indeed a large fingerprint on the reverse there, right on the eagle side of things. But this coin is here because it's a regular staple on the PCMR. This is the Wounded Eagle reverse variety. It's the FS901, and I bet you guys are looking for a little close-up. There you go. The Wounded Eagle is portrayed with the die gouges on the reverse there that go through the breast feathers of the eagle and into the wing. It's usually a pair of die gouges. All right, you have that really long one and a little short one to the left of that, right in the wing area. So even this one with the big unsightly fingerprint still managed to pull in $70 on eBay, which is pretty good. There's a floor on these things. I don't see them go too much cheaper, maybe $50-$60, and that's one that's really beat up and very well worn. They go up a lot higher. Now, when you get to a certain point where these things are going to gem out in like 66 or higher grade wise, they're going to be $400 or $500 and then up. I've seen a few of them, in like the top grades command like $4,000 to $5,000, but you got to get like a mid-state 67 plus, somewhere around there, to realize the big money potential of this coin. And here's one that's been lost in translation over the last few years, I guess. 1972D Kennedy $half, straight out of a roll. I doubt these things are passing and change that much anymore, but this very weakly struck example right here, holding a little bit of a secret that we all need to know about, because guess what? As that silver price keeps on rising, there's going to be more desire to pick up rolls of $half from the bank. These are going to be your best bet finding silver. And, with a 90% silver $half, currently right around $15.75 a piece. And the 40%ers are what? $6 a piece? Something like that. Yeah, these are looking more delectable every day. Now, this one's not silver, but if you can't find the silver, make sure you're looking for the varieties. There's a few of them. The 72D right here, by the way, is the missing FG initial reverse. Frank Gasparo is not at all represented as the artist on this coin. These are referred to as the FS901. It's Cherry Picker's Guide variety. So this one right here is selling for $12.99. That's good for a few 40% silver $half. So if you're not finding the silver and you're finding varieties, you can always sell this and then turn around and buy silver. Whatever you want to do. There is a way to convert things like this. Varieties and errors sell the best online through e-commerce channels like eBay and whatnot, and all that stuff. And then you just collect that cash. It's something like this. Coin dealer more than likely is not going to be interested, as they're just looking for kind of like the low hanging fruit material. Bullion. Regular U.S. type coins, rarities, things like that they can make pretty good money on right away. And another key date in the Lincoln Wheat Cent series is the 1922 plain no mint mark cent. These were all produced, by the way, at the Denver Mint. There was no production of 1922s at the Philadelphia Mint. And there were a number of examples that escaped the Denver Mint without a mint mark, and that's mostly due in part that they were just missing from the working die, either by error or by deterioration, which can happen. And that's why there's like a weak D variant of this coin as well. Now, there's 4 different reverse die pairings, or die pairings in general. This one is the more favorable one that has the strong reverse. I believe it's die pair number 3. This one's sold by Coins and Cards. You know, they're the eBay sellers that sell a lot of higher end stuff. This is a good one here, because if you're looking for a problem-free 1922 plain no mint mark coin, they can be very scarce and expensive. You know, and then we're talking even coins that grade out like VF, which is, I think, is where this one is, like a VF30. This one sold very well at $556 with 20 bids. So Coins and Cards very confident in sending this one along its way through a traditional auction format, not worrying that it's going to, you know, grab all the money possible for the sale. We also have this one here, pretty minor, but I'm willing to bet a lot of you out there listening in probably overlook things like this. This is a 1965 Lincoln Memorial cent with a little bit of a strike through on the reverse. And that is right here where the steps are. Yeah, and then this little empty field area above 1 cent. There was probably some grease impacted right on that area on the die, so it's not going to strike up any of the devices where the grease sits on. This one right here is selling for $13.12 with 8 bids. And, you know, that's 1,312 times face value. And I'm willing to bet that you guys will be looking on both sides of the coin, because you just never know what you're going to find. I'm saying for a fact that a lot of people have overlooked this, both non-collectors and usual collectors, roll hunters. And I'm telling you right now, people are paying money for things like this. This is one of those great examples of that. 1980 Lincoln Memorial cent with a nice cut die break right there above Lincoln's head, so that part of the die had broken off through general wear and tear of the production of coins. And when the coins are struck, after that piece had fallen out, all of the metal flow will stack up in there during the process of a strike. It happens so fast, but it's going to leave a bubbled area right around the rim that goes into the master design of the coin. This one right here ended up selling for $41. And like I said, this is my one per video kind of claim to this. Cuds are kings. They sell very well. The prices are wildly consistent. And, you know, the prices are neither falling or rising. But it's just overall really good money for every example that you do find. A little bit newer coin, although this one is... well, it doesn't look too new at all. This one looks more like a 25-year-old beat-up, you know, cent. 2020 is the date on there. A good old COVID penny is, I guess, what we could call it. Partial tilted collar. It gives that appearance that it's off-center a little bit. And that's what we have here. So the collar was tilted a little bit. It's not producing quite a full strike. You know, there's a little bit extra metal flow going out and in on there. And then kind of climbing up the collar wall. You know, and that's kind of like what we have here on this one. Hard to believe that things like this exist on much newer coins too, but we're still living in a world where there's a lot of human intervention with the minting process, and that, you know, we're still going to see things like this as long as that's still the case. Until it goes like full automation and you know, all that stuff, there will always be mint errors. You know, there was mint errors this year in 2025. This one's sold for $18.32. Not too bad. Again, the condition, not that great. And I've seen similar examples sell for right around $20. So this one's still doing very well in spite of its looks. Now, that's a neat one here. We don't talk about our friends from the north quite that often, but we have this one. And yeah, this one definitely shook some trees to error collectors up north. This is the dual date, 1992. This is a British Columbia Centennial, I guess is what they call this one. And this one has some nice strike through on both the obverse and reverse. If we look at the front of the coin with Queen Elizabeth, right over the word Canada, there was some grease and crud right there. And then on the reverse, you could see it as well. Over there on the Columbia. I guess Colombia. I don't know what it says there. That's also an area where there was some grease as well. So on both sides, I mean, it's kind of crazy. And these, by the way, are full nickel compositions, I believe. So yeah, very, very, very hard composition for sure. So this is a rather neat mint error. I guess they don't see too many of these up there, and with the dual date on there, and seeing that it's a Centennial coin, this one right here is selling for $134.99. I think it's what 125 year anniversary. That I don't think that's quite a Centennial's 100 years, so. Yeah, 125 year anniversary of British Columbia, I guess, is what this one's called. Pretty neat. I've owned a few of these, but none with a mint error like this. Bicentennial coins. The regular ones, they're not really gaining a whole lot more extra emphasis these days, even though we are knocking on the doorsteps of 2026, which is the 250th anniversary. And just like that, we've lived through 50 years since a bicentennial of 1976 all the way up to 2026, another 50 years. And that has certainly brought a little bit more attention to select coins. Maybe not necessarily the business strike examples, but more so of the specialty 40% silver strikes. And some of that has to do, of course, with silver rates going these days. However, this one is on the list because of a small little cut. And I had totally forgot that this one, existed. It's been a while since I've seen one of these. And at first, some people say, oh, that's a rim bump. No, it's not. Not this one. Because I've seen probably 3 or 4 other similar examples like it. But right there at the bottom of the 6 and the date, yeah, that is indeed a little cut die break that goes right to that digit there. And then you'll look at the edge where the reading is, and you're going to see that there's no rim bump there. All right, it's complete. It follows a very clean circular pattern on the rim that is unintrusive of any hits or contact marks. This one right here is selling for $21.31. It kind of fits that mold because it's a very small cut. Size still does matter when it comes to cut die breaks. This one, not a tremendously large example, so that'll keep prices relatively stable there. A little bit newer note here, 1996, non-colorized Big Head 20 with a little bit of a back-to-front wet egg transfer there. You can see that on the left-hand side in mirrored kind of order. Even newer notes, not immune to errors at all. This one here selling for $103.94. Pretty good. 5 times face value profit return there. We also have this 1969 dollar bill. Second print, insufficient inking, I guess is what you could say. The little ink wells were running low on the ink factor here. This one selling for $114.95, and the note appears to be crispy uncirculated. This thing has never seen the light of any sort of cash register or anything else like that. Yeah, not even a fold on there too, which is a pretty nice note. We also have this 1964, good old 90% silver Kennedy half dollar. This is the final year of 90%. 64D, this particular one with the Denver mint mark. There's a lot to look for here with these ones. There's a couple nice repunched mint marks, a few doubled dies that are worth mentioning. This one right here is one of the marquee repunched mint marks, the FS501. The secondary Denver mint mark is punched south, double D's there. No pun intended. This one bringing home $25.69. A little bit of profit here, again, melt on a 90% silver half dollar is right around $15.75 with the current price of silver these days. So probably $7 in profit made here. They could have made a little bit more money. I've seen other ones sell for right around like $32, $33 buy it now hits. But yeah, this is actually a very common repunch mint mark. If you have some silver 90% Kennedy half dollars that are Denver's, check them out. I'm willing to bet there might be a few of them that maybe you might overlook. I've found quite a few of these over the years. Here's a crazy one. 1982 D, small date. Yeah, is it copper or is it not? Well, it's supposed to be copper-plated zinc. This is the transition year when they went from the bronze composition that we've all known and loved and went to, in a cost-cutting savings kind of way to copper-plated zinc. Now, I haven't seen one of these in a long time. It's probably been 10 years, but I'm sure there's been a few other ones that have shown up. But this is one that's missing its copper plating on there. It is still zinc. I mean, it's got a full core of zinc, and it's very well struck. I don't see any reason here to suspect that the plating was stripped off, because usually, if you used like easiest or some other chemical to strip the copper plating off there, it's actually going to destroy the zinc core pretty easily, because it doesn't do well with moisture. This one right here is selling for $51, 8 bids. So a lot of consumer confidence, collector confidence in this one, as it's a very tough date to find the missing plating type. We usually see those in like late 90s Lincoln Cents. There's been a few that didn't have its plating, that end up escaping in mint bags and things like that. Quite possibly one of the coins that's been moving up and up and up here, 1968D, Lincoln Memorial Cent. There's two wildly awesome varieties to look out for. They're both very desirable, and this is one that's been moving up again quite a bit. We've seen them go for $20-$30, and then now they're just doubling that. This is the RPM version, Repunched mintmark FS501. There is a doubled die reverse of the same very coin here that people are looking for as well. All right, and that one's quite scarce. So there's your repunched mintmark. The secondary Denver mintmark punched west of the primary. It looks very similar to the FS502 1960D over D. But this one right here is a good one and a lot more scarce too. Realized sale of $49.99. I'm telling you, these things have been shooting up, and there's just not a lot of them out there. As you can tell, this one's not perfect either. It's got little spots all over the place, carbon spots, stuff that you can't get rid of, because once carbon spots permeate the surface of the coin, it's like rust. You can't get rid of it. Yeah, and this is another one that we all remembered. A few of my closest buddies monetized off this one, made a lot of money back in the day, as they were selling for $75 to $100 a pop. My goodness. Quick, easy money here. 2023 P, Edith Kanaka Ole, American Women Quarter. The series, I'm going to say thankfully, coming to an end here as we cross over into some more interesting stuff, especially for the semi-quincentennial year next year. Some new designs, some fresh Lady Liberty type stuff. This one has just insane die clashing. Even before I show you the close-up, you can see the kind of like the unicorn spiked clashing coming out of the eyes there. But yeah, the word Edith clashed into Washington's hair has to be the best part of this whole thing. It sold for $80. And the crazy part is these things have dried up. There's not a whole bunch of them on eBay right now. Maybe a couple, 2 or 3. But yeah, I remember when these things were all over the place, and they were selling for regularly $75 to $100 a piece, and that's even in quantity. And then they kind of like drifted down to like $40-$50, and then bam, disappeared for like the last year. And then occasionally we'll get the one-off sale, like this one here. And yeah, still a very, very good sale price on this. I'm more than shocked. A great one here. Look at this old braided hair, 1850 large cent, Broadstruck. It looks like an off-center strike, but you're going to notice that it has a full rim going all the way around. So it is not an off-center strike. It is a Broadstruck. And there you go. This thing is crazy looking. $421.26 with 31 bids was the final result tabulation on this one. Not at all surprised. Crazy mint errors on, like early large cents and half cents and things like that. have always been expensive. They're not going to ever be cheap. And if you do come across something quite like this, you have a good chunk of money on your hands. Here's another Kennedy, another 64, this time a Philadelphia coin with a ragged clip right there at the date. All right, so kind of like an end of strip punch out of this planchet, is what created that ragged clip right there. $80 with 5 bids. Ragged clips we don't see on this date of Kennedy half dollar that often. That's why it supported this nice bigger sale here of $80. 5 bids too. 1980p Roosevelt dime, missing the nickel clad layer on the obverse, so it's all copper on one side, nickel on the other. And a thinner planchet too. You can just notice, some of the weakness in the overall strike because the planchet is thinner before the coin was struck. I mean, pretty cool. And again, Roosevelt dimes is coming out of the caves with more popularity. Again, they're redesigning for 1 year only the Roosevelt dime series for the semi-quincentennial. So that's renewed some interest overall with the entire series, going all the way back to 1946. This one, by the way, is selling for $69.60. Impressive sale there. And the final one, yes, we are going to end on another rosy. This thing is crazy. Double struck. The secondary strike is about 50% off center there. Not flipped over too. So you got 2 heads on one side and 2 tails on the other. 1972D. Yeah, great that you could actually have a date there, but Roosevelt's looking at himself, sort of. Yeah, kind of a crazy coin. This one in an old Lonesome John holder. A coin dealer, error enthusiast back in the day in Southern California there for you. There is some appeal there. $484.99. I feel like this thing probably could have taken off a lot higher than that. A best offer was accepted. Again, don't know what that number is because my systems I use is down for checking out realized sales on best offers. But that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I'm excited. I'm ready for the show week this week because I want to find some of these similar type coins, off centers, broad strikes. It's really, realistically, the only place where you can find mint errors like that and try and get them at a much cheaper price, from the dealers that probably don't care nearly as much. So again, the information in this video is for educational use only, not financial advice. Keep that in mind. Please grade your coins responsibly. I'm your host, Sean, with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We will be on this evening on Whatnot, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, with the kickoff show. It's going to be fantastic. Come by, say hi. If you got any questions, get ready to fire away because I will be there to service you. And that's it. I'm out of here. Keep on collecting. Enjoy the hobby. And I'll see you next time.